Rightio team, welcome to another episode of a Yarns podcast. I've got a little bit of a local hero here today. Mr. Nick Reid, how are you, mate?
Yeah, hey Matty, no, I'm good, bro. Yeah,
Nice.
Real happy to be here.
Good. Yeah, the sun's out. How's your day been so far?
Pretty cruisy. I'm on my days off from firefighting, so back at the gym, checking out the admin, doing all of that boring stuff that no one gets to see.
Yeah, nice, man. Let's dive into a bit of your history. Those listening probably know who Nick Reid is now. The man, 3216. Let's dive back in the day, growing up. Where'd you grow up? How was that for you?
I grew up in Taupo, actually.
Okay.
From roughly the age of 5 up until 12. Yep, went to Toyota Primary School. Active kid, hyperactive. Loved running around, playing footy. Every kid at that stage wanted to be an All Black. Pretending I was Christian Cullen or Carlos Spencer, whoever wasn't taken by one of the other kids at the time. So pretty happy childhood in Taupo. Beautiful lake there. Eventually moved with mum, so single parent household. Father passed away when I was 8.
Okay.
And then mum took up the mantle, held it down for both parents essentially, and then moved to Hamilton when I was at high school. So that's kind of where life started to kind of take off, and the development of becoming a man started.
Yeah. It's a quite a young age for your sort of father figure to be passing away like that. Because how old are you? 8 years old.
Yeah,
it's quite the formative years of getting into sport and stuff like that, and you rely on your sort of father to help you navigate that kind of thing. How was that growing up in like the single parent household and that kind of dynamic? Oh,
mate, it was tough, real tough.
Yeah.
I probably, I sort of skipped over it a little bit with rainbows and butterflies then, but for the most part, don't want to sort of speak too ill of my old man. He was awesome to me, but didn't often agree with the law. Okay. Found himself on the wrong side of prison bars occasionally, and for nothing sort of like vicious, just turns out he's a very good horticulturalist. That was his degree.
Yep. We can read into that. Yep.
Yeah, hard out. And so, he sort of sold to the wrong people a couple of times and found himself, funnily enough, we're at the A&P show. It's like a carnival back in the day. And
yeah.
He sold a bit of the devil's lettuce or the green stuff to an undercover cop to pay for tickets so me and my sister could go on a ride. And anyways, we're going into the little ghost train while he's getting arrested. And we get home and Mum asked where Dad is, and I said, he's just been arrested by a cop at the A&P show. So that was sort of a little bit of an amusing story from when I was around 6, but suffered with his battles with alcohol.
Right.
Eventually sort of lost to that, had alcohol poisoning in the end, and then what that meant was an 8-year-old boy without a dad trying to figure it out his way in the world, and I was a pretty angry young man, actually, from there. I loved playing footy, but it actually became my escape.
Right.
I sort of turned off I learned or developed an ability to turn off emotion and just kind of go numb, and I'd throw my body into all these collisions and without feeling sort of the physical pain. And later on in life, I sort of used that to play rugby, and I got praised for it, and people were like, "Oh man, this dude's real tough."
Yeah.
And it sort of became my ticket out of the ghetto. I became a rugby league player and moved out of Fairfield and Hamilton as a 17-year-old to take up a rugby league contract in Australia.
Oh, nice. Anyone we would know?
I signed with the Sydney Roosters when I was 18.
Far out. Yeah.
Sort of ended up in a training trial with the Rabbitohs there. Got picked up by the Roosters, and it was a really quick transition. I went from playing local club footy in Coffs Harbour, at the time 17 years old, playing Premier Men's, I think 72 kilos dripping wet, but I believed you couldn't hit what you can't catch.
Yeah.
And I was like the Temu version of Benji at the time. And got noticed and picked up by the Roosters, and there was a guy named Sean O'Sullivan there who was the recruitment officer for the Melbourne Storm. He'd picked up sort of Greg Inglis, Izzy Folau. He was kind of like the hottest news. Went to the Roosters, and he said, "Mate, I want you to come train with us." And I went and trained, I think 2 times. Got a ride back to the train station with Anthony Minicello, my hero,
Yeah.
sat in the back of his Porsche,
Yeah.
and I said, "Show me the dotted line. I'm in."
Yeah.
And that was kind of the start for me of pursuing a career in rugby league.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, and that didn't go that well.
Okay.
Actually,
Yeah.
yeah.
Talk us through that, or
Oh,
are you avoiding something?
I was just 17 years old, 18 actually at the
Yeah.
time, full of unbridled talent,
Yeah.
but no grounding. So no father role model from the early days. Moved out of home when I was 14.
Right.
Irreconcilable differences with mum, and became a ward of the state actually.
Okay.
And my friends' parents took me in, and as lovely as they are, and they showed me an awesome way to be in the world, I just didn't answer to anyone basically, and I struggled to ground myself. So I got swept up by sort of alcohol, drugs, and womanizing actually at 18 years old. I just thought the fast lifestyle would keep on coming.
This is while you were playing league.
Yeah, while I was
Aussie.
playing rugby league, I'd gone from being this 18-year-old sort of trolley boy into Sydney City, living in Randwick, having all of a sudden access to these illicit substances and beautiful women actually. And it was like a kid in a candy shop. I had no idea what to do with it. So I just took it all and thought that I would. It was a matter of time that I'd be playing first grade. I was going to be on everybody's lips as I ran down the try line. And it wasn't to be. I basically got sidetracked by it all, swept up in the craze, and found myself not even starting in under-20s, actually.
Wow. Yeah.
And that was a harsh reality check. I'd sort of been used to being a big fish, small pond, and I got to Sydney where these guys play rugby league at an elite level, bread and butter stuff, high skills, and I just got found wanting.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know how to cope. I went from being a hero to just being another guy in the team, and probably even so lucky to be there. And I just hadn't developed any other skills as a man.
Yeah. What do you reckon was, obviously you've got the drugs and alcohol and the women and, you know, all that sort of sidetracking you. When you're at training though, you're at practice with the squad, like are you letting yourself down there as well? Like not applying yourself 100% or?
Probably not actually. When I was at training, I was dialed in as much as I could be. In fact, I probably overcommitted to the fitness side of things to try and prove something, to show everyone I was the fittest in the team, and I probably was.
Yeah.
But being fit only sort of opens the door to playing football. It doesn't necessarily make you a great footballer.
Yeah.
And where I got found wanting was my catch and pass skills for a half were pretty shocking, actually.
Right.
They were up and down. I was either rocks or diamonds, so inconsistent. And a huge confidence player. And I remember it was a particularly windy day. I hadn't learned how to end-over-end pass at the time.
Yeah.
I could only spiral because I'd come from a rugby background.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And every time I passed this ball, sort of going 10, 20 metres, it was just floating all over the place.
Yeah.
Adrian Lamb was our under-20s coach at the time, and he was spewing. He just let me know about it too. And I said, oh, look, if you think you can do better, hop on in, give it a go.
Wow, yeah.
You know, mind you, he'd wound me up about 5 times in a row before I finally snapped back at him. Anyways, in his steps, I didn't even realise he'd played for Queensland at the time. And he just did exactly what he wanted from me. And just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, he did it 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
Just to really make sure that I knew that I was just a boy. And holy shit, did that hurt my confidence.
Yeah.
And unfortunately for me, it didn't get that much better.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I like I said, a huge confidence player, started dropping my head, so self-critical. And I really started to find myself battling with imposter syndrome.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is over in Aussie still, obviously. How old would you have been around this time? 19?
18,
19?
18, yeah. And I had Anthony Tupou outside me playing second row, playing for Australia. And Anthony Minichello at the back. I was playing or training with the first grade squad at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do I tell these guys what to do?
Yeah.
They'll just tell me to shut up.
So how long were you riding that train for before you sort of leave that environment, you leave the Roosters?
I lasted probably till around halfway through the NRL season. I didn't sort of start the first 4 games, and based on my preseason training, I was okay with that. I was like, look, this is pretty much reflective of what you've demonstrated in performance, not effort, but performance. Finally, the halfback in the first 5 or the 5'8" from the under 20s got dropped.
Yep.
Because they were injured, and I was like, yes, here's my chance. And it just so happened a young guy by the name of Brad, I think his name was Brad Murray, was playing under 18s for the Roosters, and they'd just won the competition.
Yeah.
He was playing stellar, and he basically just leapfrogged me, jumped straight over me, and they said, oh, mate, you're not match fit.
Yeah.
We're going to go with Brad instead.
Yeah.
And I threw a tantrum. I was like, but I'm good,
Yeah.
Give me a shot. I've done pre-season, and I asked for a release, and they granted it to me. And I went back to Coffs Harbour to play club footy, get some match fitness up, and to sign with the Cronulla Sharks. Actually, that was my next step. But I fell into this massive deadline trap. Arguments between sort of Cronulla and New South Wales Country Rugby League. Yep. I played a little bit of rep footy while I was back, and it slapped a development fee on my head, which Cronulla then didn't want to pay. They were like, you guys haven't developed them.
Right, okay. Fuck, a lot of inner workings there, eh?
Oh, yeah. It was... Anyways, I was sort of ended up missing the June 30 deadline, couldn't come back to the NRL system, had to spend the rest of the season out there. Was actually a pretty good thing for me. Yeah. Played local footy with my mates. Yep. We won the premiership there for Orara Valley X-Men. It was a Coffs Harbour team.
Right.
And then went to Cronulla the next year and played under 20s.
Right.
It didn't get that much better. Yeah.
Well, it's still further than a lot of other people, get, so that you can take away from that. How long in your journey before you start to really look inside and go, that as an upbringing is fucking difficult, man. Like, while your old man's still alive, there's a lot going on. He passes away. Have you just got the one sister, or?
Complicated family structure. Okay.
You're the man of the family. Yep. There's a lot relying on you, especially when you get into your just even early teens. You fall out with your mother. You then move away. 14 years old, he said.
Yep.
How long into your journey, once the league sort of finished, are you sort of looking inside and going a lot of this is really affecting me? I need to sort of have a look internally.
Oh, man, this gets way worse before it gets better, eh?
Go for gold.
So, injured, first major injury at Cronulla, broke my ankle, out for, I think, 16 weeks, come back, play 2 more games, get dropped. Go searching for another opportunity, end up in Redcliffe at the Dolphins, playing Queensland Cup. And
it's before the NRL.
So, so that's the level just below Intrust Super Cup. And I think out of the starting 17 for the Redcliffe Dolphins in my second year there, 16 had played NRL, and I was the only one who hadn't ever debuted. So really, really high level quality players. Broke my ankle there again.
Same ankle?
Yep, same ankle. Freak accident. Actually, just got held in a bad tackle and someone landed on it. Came back, got knocked out twice in 2 games, and then I broke my arm. And I thought, holy wow, maybe NRL wasn't for me. Maybe God's trying to say something. And that was a bit of a spiral, actually, all of those injuries. I got caught drink driving and lost my license for 6 months.
Is it in Australia?
Yeah, in Australia. And then I almost had it back, and then I got caught driving all disqualified. Right. And so then I lost it for 2 years. And I was like, there's no way I'm trying to build a life in Australia. Riding my push bike everywhere. And so that was probably the first time that I was like, actually, my life might have to do something other than footy. 22 years old at this point. Right. Broken radius, got a steel plate in there. Feeling pretty washed up. I was probably underweight for a forward. I was really struggling to hold the mass as well. And when I lost my license, then I thought, if I don't play NRL, what's next? And so I moved back to New Zealand. I signed up to Wintec in a sports science degree.
Nice.
Was like, let's do some PT stuff. I'm familiar with this. It's probably the only skill set actually that I've developed since I left school.
I hear you, bro.
And let's just sort of go from there. And that was probably the start of starting to identify things beyond rugby league. and starting to transition sort of from boyhood into being a man. And at that point going, hey man, my family structure has been trash for me growing up, largely independent. Yep. One day I want to build my own family. I want to be able to be there, present, and provide for them. What can I do to make that happen? Yep. And that was when I basically got into my degree. Yeah.
Yep. So you finished that degree at Wintec?
Yep. In 2014.
Yep.
And then first job out was working as development officer for New Zealand Rugby League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you would have been really familiar with that sort of setup then?
Yeah. And it was really awesome as a purpose to start with. I was like, man, I get the opportunity to give these kids as teenagers all of, I suppose, the benefits of my mistakes.
Yes, yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, and you could take that into, obviously you've got a young family now, so yeah, that's awesome, man. I guess going on from there, was Warriors ever on the cards? Just as a random...
Oh, man. For a long time, I actually resented the Warriors.
Oh, wow, yeah, okay.
And partly I felt or I believed at the time that I just wasn't getting a look in because of my size. So like I said, I sort of finished high school dripping wet at 72 kegs. But also I really started playing rugby league quite late.
Yeah.
Rugby union was the thing for me. I played sort of all of that age group, Waikato rugby stuff. Made the New Zealand Under 17 camp for rugby, and they had some amazing players in it at the time. And then rugby league was kind of like this hoary little cousin, like side sport that it just so happened a couple of the families from Fairfield used to play in. Yeah. And I went and played that, and I went, this game is awesome. The only thing I'd seen of it at that point in time, I was 15, was guys on TV run it straight off the kickoff. Yeah. And so the first thing I did was run it straight, and I ran it straight at 4 guys in front of me, and hell did I get belted. Honestly, my head hit the ground well before my feet did. And I thought to myself, as soon as I got up, struggling to breathe and playing the ball, I'm never running straight again. Yeah. And I didn't, pretty much.
Yeah. Drifted out a little bit.
Yeah, I just used footwork. I was like, why would I even think that was a good idea?
Yeah. Oh, no, cool, man. So when you're doing this development stuff, how long are you doing that for? Because obviously, now you own a CrossFit gym here in Hamilton, full-time firefighter, which I'm excited to learn about. Where was the journey after sort of, getting this development stuff? How long did you do that for?
Just a couple of years, actually. Yep. I was sort of young, had a partner at the time, was engaged, and just wanted to give back to all of these young people. And I was on a lot of boards. I had to sit on the Waikato Rugby League board and just give my opinion on things. Right. Had to set up, I think, the Hauraki Rugby League board and stuff as well. Anyways, I did that for 2 years, running tournaments, getting around, doing coaching stuff. And the coaching stuff was my favourite. Yep. I actually got quite good at wrestling through rugby league over there just because of the coaching that we received. Yeah. And it hadn't, I suppose it's one of those things that only really sort of high-level players are privileged to receive. And so if you haven't been in that environment before, it's so foreign, but it gives you such an advantage. Right. And I just loved watching the light bulbs tick on everybody, So I did that for 2 years before I started to feel burnout. Right. The difficulty with being employed as a rugby league development officer at that time is your contract sort of says you'll work a minimum 40 hours. Yep. But you're probably working closer to between 60 and 80.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because rugby league's typically on the weekends. You're in schools during the day doing development sessions. You're at clubs in the afternoons doing coaching sessions. Yep. And then you're doing open days and things like that on the weekends. 7-day-a-week job. And people probably don't see that. And eventually the trade-off between sort of giving and earning financially doesn't balance out. Yeah. And as much as I loved it, I was still trying to play at the time. I was still 25, 26 and going, no, I'm running myself into the ground here.
Yeah. That's a busy Saturday, man.
Yeah. And sometimes I'd be out at the junior rugby league fields watching these guys play to then play my own game Saturday afternoon, and then the next day playing representative rugby league for the district in the national tournament and going on Monday, banged up body, here we go again. Yeah.
Who were you playing for then?
I was playing for the Hamilton City Tigers.
Oh, okay.
Yep. One of the local clubs here.
Tokoroa in that league?
Yeah, so we played against Pacific Sharks. They had the Waikawa Bay competition, which was pretty awesome at the time. Upper Central Zone sort of had Waikato Bay plenty and Coastlines teams. Awesome comp at the time, actually, and then fortunate to make a few rep teams along the way, like New Zealand universities, New Zealand Māori, and NZ residents as well.
Yeah. Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I used to run up against those Tokoroa lads a few times.
Yeah.
Scary, man.
Yeah, no, they're awesome dudes, actually. A lot of time for them.
Yeah, no, good stuff. So where'd the journey take you after that?
Eventually this is how I got into CrossFit, actually. So it's a good little segue. I got a neck injury, unfortunately, but also, blessed for what happened in the end.
Yeah.
I was in and out of rugby league at the time, kind of just playing. I'd sort of found this point in my life where I was doing really well rugby league-wise, but not having to sacrifice too much to do it. No, I'd only turn up to one training a week type thing because I was committed to study.
Yeah.
And I was like, probably hitting my early 30s at this stage. I'm not going to be a professional rugby league player, but I can still play in a few tournaments and try get a few trophies and get a few man of the matches and some prize money. So I kept myself in good enough nick for that and had one last roll of the dice playing rugby 10s in Hong Kong. I come back to New Zealand, play in this rugby league tournament for the local league. It was just after COVID, so everything had been condensed. And honestly, I just get this little whiplash tackle. Nothing major at the time. I caught the ball, passed it, probably got past 2 more times before I get hit from behind. So I was super, super relaxed.
Legal as then, yeah.
And it was dirty, but I didn't hold any grudges because I was that way inclined as a player myself. And it wasn't anything that I wouldn't have done to everybody else anyway. So I was like, if you're going to give it, you better be prepared to receive it too. And I remember getting up off the ground and going, oh, man, that hurt. I'll worry about that tomorrow. Play the game. Get up in the morning and I just can't turn my head very well, And in the same game, I think I'd broken my thumb and dislocated my shoulder briefly. So my shoulder was still injured and the neck I couldn't turn properly. And I took a couple of weeks off. But then my shoulder was fine and my neck was still sore.
Right.
And unfortunately for me, the physio missed it. Said to me, hey, go and do what you normally do. And unbeknown to her, I went and did a whole stack of handstand push-ups where I just dropped myself on my head over and over like 90 times in a workout. At the time, there was a undiagnosed but bulging disc in my neck.
Right.
And so 90-odd handstand push-ups later really ruined me, actually.
Yeah, fuck it, I bet, bro.
So in the morning, I really couldn't turn my head. And when that didn't recover after a week, I went, hey, something's wrong here. Like I can't actually look straight. I was looking in a downwards motion because to look up was to compress the disc a little bit more, and it just hurt. And I remember holding a glass of water, and it just fell out of my hand. I lost full motor control of my hand, and so what was happening is this disc was pushing on a nerve and turning my whole upper left body off, including my arm. My lats was like just a big floppy sack of meat, and I tried to do a pull up and I couldn't. Only one arm was working. And I went and saw a guy in Hamilton by the name of Craig O'Connor. Brilliant osteo. I think a lot of the CrossFitters see him.
I remember Craig from back in the day.
I've got to say he's the best in the business. But he says, mate, I don't have X-ray vision, but
something's wrong.
But I think it's your neck, not your shoulder. I think that you've got cervicular radiculopathy, which is basically a bulging disc pushing on the nerve around this region and cutting off your feeling. And anyways, I went to the doctor, told him what the osteo thought. He sent me for X-rays, and he was bang on the money. And so I ended up in a battle with ACC for a year and a half before I finally won that. And they committed surgery, and basically my options were spinal fusion. You can still play contact sport, but limited range of motion, or disc replacement, full range of motion in your neck, but no more contact sport. And it was an easy choice for me. I think, early 30s by that stage, going, my rugby league sort of career's over anyway. I still want to be able to look at the night sky.
Yes, yeah.
And hang out with the kids. So that was kind of where I got surgery, and that was when I started getting into CrossFit properly.
Yeah. That year and a half, just before you go and do CrossFit, where you're in a battle with ACC, because obviously you're probably in still quite a bit of pain.
Yeah.
And you got to function day to day. What's the rehab like working through that?
For that year and a half?
Yeah, before surgery.
Actually it was challenging. It
Yeah.
was getting, I wouldn't say I was addicted to painkillers, but I was taking painkillers so regularly just to get my work done.
Yeah.
I still had to provide for the family. 80% wasn't going to cut it. So if I just sat on ACC, that wasn't going to cut it. What I found was a massive shift in my mood. So I went from being typically, I don't know, if happiness is a scale of 1 to 10, 7 on a day-to-day basis, to being more like a 3 and a 4. And I believe part of that's actually about body language. Right. So being unable to look people in the eye and walk forward and head up high meant that I was often looking at the ground or looking towards my feet. And that, and then slouching my shoulders. That change in body language actually just sort of means that you put out this type of energy that reciprocates maybe the same negativity. Yeah. And just frustration. I couldn't pursue the things that I wanted to, so I would go, and it took me 6 months to be able to do a single pull-up, actually. Yeah. I signed up to BFT at the time just to do some kind of activity. But the biggest one that probably made me cry actually during this stage was trying to hold my son. He was a baby at the time, would have been sort of less than 1 year old. And realising that I couldn't hold him in my left arm in case I dropped him. Yeah. So I would have to pull him over to the other side, and I just remember being like, this absolutely sucks. Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much it. And I mean, you deal with that, you get your surgery, and then
it's good.
World's full of possibilities.
You got the surgery, and I mean, you're crushing it now. You're just fresh off of NZ Champs, which you did well. Yeah, sweet. So you got your surgery. Just changed the camera there, team, so it might be a bit off there. But started getting into CrossFit. Where were you training?
So I started at CrossFit 3216, which is the gym I own now.
Did you not? I thought you created that. That's bold.
Nah. There's been 2 owners prior.
Okay, yeah.
Prior to that, Ben Mills started that in 2013.
Ben Mills,
before he sold it to Anna and Andre Alapati a few years later. Yeah. So they had it 6 years. So it's been around now for 13 years.
Wow. Yeah. Affiliated the whole time?
1 day miss.
Oh,
so
okay. Yeah.
There's an overlap. Unfortunately, apparently we celebrated our 8th or 9th birthday last year, and I was like, but we've been established and it's on our logo since 2013. Like, what's going on here? And apparently there was a day where the registration lapsed by a day.
Right.
And so it started again when Anna and Andre took
Yeah.
over. So it's a little bit of a weird one because our anniversaries are now 2 different dates.
Yeah.
But Anna and Andre had that, and I joined the gym roughly late 2017.
Okay, yeah.
And I was trying to think what sparked me to get into it. I was like, I saw it popping up occasionally when Rich Froning was just dominating, and I was, because I had done my sports science degree, I was like, one day when I stop playing rugby league, I'm going to give that a go.
Yeah.
Finally, I was like, well, I'm not really playing rugby league at a serious level. Why not go and give this a dabble? And I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
First session in, I think it was like I was Cindy.
Oh,
Cindy,
really?
actually, yeah. So like body weight squats, push-ups, pull-ups. And I had seen people do the pull-ups on YouTube and stuff. Yeah. And so I just already knew how to do them.
Yeah.
And all we did in rugby league was blimmin' squats, burpees, and push-ups.
Yeah.
And some running. So just
Body
absolutely
stuff was
frothed
going.
over it,
Even you just saying, I already knew how to do them. Fuck, that would have fucked some people off, man. Because not everyone's as athletically gifted as yourself.
I think Izzy, I met Izzy, he was a teenager back then, and he said he saw me for the first time walk in. He goes, oh, he looks pretty athletic, but I'm going to pump this guy. And he reckons I just took off and he never saw me again. And he was like, oh, maybe not. Maybe he's pretty good.
Maybe he's a real deal. That's all that BFT, is he? That's what it'll do to you, bro.
And I had, at the time, I had aspirations to make it to the CrossFit Games. I didn't realise how important the vertical press element was going to be.
Yeah.
And I've just got bad shoulders. I always have. before I even started playing rugby league. I actually think it's an anatomical thing. At least I believe that certainly inhibits me. And then the fact that I haven't been stretching for the past 15 years just exacerbates that even more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the start of the CrossFit journey. And then I had that injury, started getting back into CrossFit, and Anna and Andre were like, hey, look, we're going to, do you want to work for us? And I said, not really, I don't have the time. I'm already working up at the university in a health and fitness role. And they're like, well, have you thought about ownership? And I was doing a master's in business at the time. I did an MBA at the University of Waikato.
Yeah.
And I was considering business consultancy.
Right.
And at the time, I had a knack for making other people money, but never ever having to worry about losing anything, because I get to go home with a salary at the end of the day. And I thought, to be taken seriously, I need to get some skin in the game. And I feel like I know this industry really well.
Yeah.
And if I can't make this work, maybe I need to consider a different business idea. So that was kind of the catalyst to make me buy the gym.
Yep.
And I bought that, and holy heck, it was a really rushed sale. They were looking to sell fairly quickly, to settle down and get their kids into school. And I certainly didn't take my time doing due diligence. I was bought into the dream of being a gym owner.
Yep, been there.
And and I look at the financials, and I probably didn't care so much. I was like, man, this place is great bones, centrally located, big space, great community. And I think there were only 40 people on the books, though. It had been gradually, as Anna and Andre had sort of pulled away to focus on their lives themselves, outstanding coaches. Yeah. But when they withdrew from the box to focus on family, they left 2 rookie coaches kind of in charge. And almost overnight, it went from being like the standards right up here to here's a couple of developing coaches, but man, they can't help me on my CrossFit journey at the moment. Eventually they got there, but it was a big, big drop in standard. And that was sort of reflected by the drop in memberships too. I think it had dropped down to about 40 on the books by the time I took over. And then on the day that I signed, I think there were 29 active memberships.
Wow, yeah, that's tough.
It was a big thing to turn around. I think I lost $1,200 the first week, lost $1,200 the second week. So then I knew it wasn't a fluke. And I said to
stop the bleeding, man.
Yeah, I had basically four coaches on at the time. I put the financials down in black and white, sent it to them all, gave them all a call and said, hey, look, I'm going to take all of the classes from Monday because I can't afford to pay you. And if I don't turn this business around, because I'd paid for that $2,400 worth of debt out of credit, if I don't turn this around in the next 8 weeks, I'm bankrupt anyway. You know, I'll have maxed out my credit card and I've over leveraged. I'm done. And that was kind of the start of a hard ass journey. Actually, I secretly moved into the gym. I put a single mattress behind the couch in the kids' room with my sleeping bag. And I did all of the janitorial tasks. I was up at 4:30. I took all of the social media content from really different angles to make sure that there was always people in the shot. Because no one wants to see a failing gym. They want to see success. It kind of attracts it. And it was a slow burner. I thought when I took over, people would be like, yep, Nick Reed's taking over. He knows his shit. Let's go join. And probably got about 10 members max. And then it just dried up and I was like, oh no, what am I going to do now? And at this point I was working probably 80 hours to 100 and then living in the gym. And I think week 3, I had a little cry in the driveway because I had $84, I think, left in my account. I had no food. I was eating, so I got given a gift basket from the university when I left with my holiday part. And they had rice crackers in there and this, it was like a beetroot relish. And I was eating this beetroot relish on rice crackers from the last of my gift basket. And I remember I took my phone out and I recorded it because I was having an actual cry, being like, I think I'd worked 300 hours in the last 3 weeks. And I was like, this sucks. I was tired. I was emotional. I was like, how am I, must have been early 30s, like 32, 33 years old, and the brokest that I've ever been. Eating this, like, as my last resort. And anyways, I was like, one day I'm going to look back at this video and just be like, we made it.
Yeah.
And we did. Gradually things sort of built up. The best strategy I did was reach out to. We had a really heavy male-orientated gym at the time. Out of 29 people, we probably had 25 males.
Yeah.
Which is so intimidating for any female coming into the gym. So I reached out to 10 female influencers that I knew. Didn't care about shape, size. What I cared about was values. What was their value system? Do they help people feel good about themselves? Are they themselves nice and bubbly? And I said, look, hey ladies, first 5 people here to get back to me and say they're keen to join at a discounted rate, and as an ambassador's rate, I'll sort you out basically at half the price of our CrossFit membership at the time. And 5 people got back to me, and they brought their mates, and then they brought their mates, and then I think 3 months later we were up to 80 people.
Fuck, that's a hell of a strategy.
It was really good, and I thought, look, if I just keep on focusing on the training, it'll sell itself. And then my priority then was to look after the people, actually. I hustled after every single lead out of necessity, and I had to. And as soon as, actually I just want to say there was 2 staff in particular, Ruby Grant and Izzy, who, when I was on my bare bones, put their hand up and they're like, man, you can't possibly do all of these classes by yourself and the janitorial tasks and the social media. We'll volunteer to take a couple classes each. And I said, hey, look, thank you, but I can't pay you. And they're like, no, we'll just do it. And so,
that's amazing.
So I said, look, I'll backlog your hours, and if I ever make it into the black, you'll be the first people I pay. And so, pretty much a month later, paid them back. But I just wanted to say, like, no, they sort of turned up when they didn't have to. So grateful as, just wanted to mention their names particularly.
No, that's huge, man. Like, we've got coaches now that do it for a free membership, and it actually means the world, because like CrossFit gym ownership it's not a real big money maker. You can make money from it, but it's not a massive earner. Lots of us have to have sort of other jobs and other sources of income. So just shout out to Izzy and, was it Ruby, was it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And so that's sort of the start of like CrossFit 3216 and its sort of ownership. And then sort of going back to when I had the neck injury and did 12 weeks of rehab, I basically was like, well, since I don't play rugby league anymore, might as well just do this. And man, it was amazing actually that once I started dedicating myself to a little bit of CrossFit, I went, I think, from believing that I could be in the top 50 in New Zealand to, I think, qualifying might have been like 20th for NZ Nationals. But then also still this massive self-doubt of like, there's just different levels actually. Once you get into the elite category, like the levels themselves are just like,
they're
crazy.
They're still constantly changing. Like it's so good to be like qualifying for NZ Champs and NZ Nats, but there's that whole next level. How close were you sort of like to cracking into sort of like the regional space, or was it sanctionals back then? Or
I would have been regionals. It's sort of I don't know. I feel like at a few different times I really missed my opportunity to make something like Torian Pro or regionals.
Because there was a time where you were pushing for team.
Yeah,
I know Greer was fucking that close, man. And honestly, because I remember you reaching out. So there was a time, obviously, you were looking at getting teams in there. And,
I don't necessarily think my journey in teams has ended, but I always wanted to make it as an individual, and that dream is pretty slowly dying. And it's not because I'm getting any worse, just the standards getting unbelievably good.
Just look at champs gone by, man, like Hecor and Isaac Newman, and like just even like Monty, and like, bro, just the talent is crazy, man.
100%. Like the weights that people lift now are just insane. Like I think my max is like a 150 clean. And people are throwing this over their head as part of complexes now.
That's fucking wild.
Which is that's crazy. And 150, let's say you go back 3-4 years, it's like, oh, wow, like you're kind of the exception. Like you're up there. You must be a weightlifter. And now it's like, if you want to be even like competitive in the elite grade, 140 is like the minimum, and 140 is what you need to be hitting if you're like a runner.
Yeah. When I started in 2013, and I remember going to comps, and like there was maybe like 2 years where I thought I was the same. I was like, I'm gonna make it, man. I remember like genuinely going to comps, RX division, and 125 clean and jerk was like fucking on.
Yeah, 100%.
And they look at that like, bro, cunts are snatching that like
Yeah.
easy. Right?
It's
Like,
crazy.
oh.
The level's crazy. I think I was pretty stoked because I managed to get a better score than Isaac Newman in one of the workouts on the weekend. I was like, yeah, I still got it. I beat a games athlete. But I had to leave to go to work actually before the semi-final.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So I was coming 13th, and I was pretty happy because the handstand walk workout for me, it was by far going to be the worst. It was just as bad as I thought it was going to be, and I came third to last in it.
Yeah.
And still found myself at 13th, and I was like, oh, wow, actually, rope climbs and C2 bike, that's a bit of me. Like, I'm quite keen on the semi and the final. And the reason for that is because I practiced the semi twice, actually, at the gym. And I'm pretty quad dominant, so my quads just hold on for a long time before they eventually hit their max. And I love a rope climb. I love the technicality of it. Probably not as good as Ash Roosie, but not too much sort of far behind on that one. And I was looking at these boys on their bikes from work now and just going, man, I reckon I would have made sort of third-ish, something like that. Pretty disappointed about not being able to complete, but at the same time I was like, sweet, that might have got me 10th.
Yeah.
And then even if I did well in the final, the best I could have finished was 8th. Like that. The skill level now, like I was way too far away from podium. And I just, probably Heckle is a great example of like a full-time athlete now trained sort of roughly between 4 to 6 hours a day. But he's just better than me in every single capacity. Like there's it's not like I can outwork him or outsmart him because his physical capacity is just better than mine in every category.
Do you think your self-doubt is still there, quite prominent? Like just even listening to that conversation there, like 8th is good. Yeah, like that is good. A lot of people, don't even qualify for these events. And this is not me having a go at it. Do you still reckon that self-doubt was there? Because you put a post up saying, you weren't sure about this year, and you hadn't snatched over 100, and or you'd done it twice in the last however long or something like that.
Yeah.
Do you still have moments where that self-doubt really sort of tries to derail you?
I would just say sometimes.
Yeah.
Probably the self-doubt creeps in when I haven't done the work, and I tore both labrums in my shoulders about a year ago, actually, not long after NZ Champs last year.
Yeah.
I did poorly in the handstand walk workout, and I went, that's not going to happen again. And so I went on the super aggressive handstand walking mobility program, and I didn't realize at how aggressive I was being, and I was slowly tearing away at basically the capsules in my shoulder that hold my arms to my torso. And they were getting sore, and I wanted to sort of stop, but I was like, you always stop with your shoulders when it gets hard. This is where you're supposed to push through if you're going to get any better at it. So anyways, didn't listen to my body. Turned up to work actually I had a pump operation course on the fire truck, and there was a big kink in one of the feeder hose. The hoses, when they're full of water, 100 kilos each.
Okay, yeah.
And anyways, I had a big kink, went to go move it, hand stayed on the hose, and my body just went, and so my shoulders just dislocated both at the same time because of my torn labrum. And basically I just had injured shoulders for 10 months. I felt it happen. I was like, ouch, that hurts. And when I went to go lift the hydrant back up to the top of the truck, I struggled. I couldn't even pull the thing out of the ground. It's not that heavy. If I had to estimate, it's probably 9 kilos ish.
Right. Damn. Yeah. Okay.
And the fact I couldn't lift it away from my torso, I was like, I've done something here. I'm in trouble. And so it's been a long time where I haven't done anything overhead. And I did some squats based stuff for a little while. And about 2 months ago, injury-free. So completely injury-free, no excuses not to partake, but I just haven't done any volume. And so I'm going into these NZ champs being like, I've not lifted 100 kilos above my head this year. Like I've done it twice, I think, for a jerk.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of fear there, but also being like, actually, I don't even have enough time to ramp up the volume from now till then.
Yeah.
The best thing I can do for these is manage them and make sure they don't get injured.
Yeah.
And then I can do a proper strength cycle after champs. And then because I couldn't train fully, I basically was just struggling with motivation. I was like, I'll turn up to class when I can. My focus right now is family. I'll start running tomorrow. I'll start doing my extras Wednesday.
Yeah.
Anyways, 2 weeks later, still no extras,
Still
no volume. And so the self-doubt sort of came from this thing of like, man, I feel like a race car driver in a station wagon. Like mentally I've got it and I know how to turn it, but can my body sort of keep up?
Yeah, the motor's not there.
Yeah. And there's just some things, particularly strength-wise, that you can't bullshit. Like you get to that complex and you've either done the work or you haven't.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where the doubt came from. And it was like knowing the level of these athletes, especially being sort of the top group in the country, is 115 kilos as a complex is just not enough. Handstand walking 90 meters scared the hell out of me. I was like, if I only had to break 2.5 meters, I could go through this so quickly because I know that I've got that safety. Yeah. But I just could not afford to miss a rep. So it was.
What did you end up hitting in that complex? Did you get
115?
115,
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been towards the bottom, and that's crazy to even think of. It just shows you the level of this. You've already touched on it. You are a firefighter.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that journey of yours.
For
sure.
Sure.
When did that sort of come up? When did that rear its head? And because it's a beast of a fucking job, man.
Oh, honestly, the best job in the world, and it's the greatest thing that I never knew I wanted. Yeah. Until I got it, and then I was like, far out. This is like a giant hidden secret.
Yeah.
Rob Joyce actually got me into this, so.
Oh, VP.
Yeah.
I used to train with him at Kotahi.
Yeah.
Back when I was going to make it.
And he's still out there bloody snatching 110 as 75 kilo.
He was a pro skateboarder.
I did.
That's wild, eh?
Yeah. Oh, man.
What an athlete.
We talk about people living these lives.
Yeah.
And it took me ages to hear that he did that, and also to know that he had heaps of kids. And the fact that he can do a standing backflip.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's an athlete. He's good at a lot of things actually. Yeah. But he got me into it. So a mate of mine come to the box, and I was sort of saying to him, I was like, man, I bought this gym with the intention of being actually able to train hard, but spend a little bit more time with my son.
Right.
I had gone through a separation at the time, and my son was 1, and I was like, but I'm spending all my time in the morning here at the gym, and in the afternoon, and he's at daycare during the day. Yeah. So I've actually all I've done is sort of book myself work. Yeah. Instead of time, I'm really missing the intention, but I don't know how to still have the same flexibility to be as present for him as I can be and have the security of a good income. Yeah. And he's like, oh, bro, you should be a firefighter.
Job for you, yeah.
And I was like, well, what do you guys do? And he goes, oh, come for a ride along and find out. At that point in time, I didn't know much about firefighters other than they put cold stuff on the hot stuff. Yeah. And then I turned up for a day. Matty Alphas was my officer at the time, and we were doing some PT, some training, and then the alarm went off, and they were like, "Yeah, that's you too. Jump in the truck." So I chuck on my observer gears with my high vis and whatnot. We go to this overturned truck, and everyone makes it out safe, which is cool, but the roads are pretty blocked up. And the boss says to me, "Oh, grab the hose off the truck." And just squirt the debris off the road. And I've never felt like such a kid, like a boy at Christmas. I was at the end of the day, it's a hose. It's just a big version of a garden hose. But I get over to this water and I open it up and the water comes out and I'm squirting this water off and traffic stopped for me. And I was like, this is the closest thing to a gun that I can imagine. It's just a big water gun. And so I'm shooting this off, and honestly, I was just like, how do I do this? Get me on. Anyways, you jump back on the truck. The boys talk a whole bunch of smack. We're on our way back, and they're like, oh, we want a coffee. We stop for coffee. We grab a coffee, have a debrief about the job, as they do after every job. Back to station, a couple more calls. We turn up to schools, evacuate a place because there's smoke there. Someone was smoking in a place, and then set off the extinguishers and stuff like that. Anyways, that whole day was unreal. In between, there's just so much camaraderie. It's like you go to hang out with your mates, or I imagine it's kind of like school, except for your subject is fire science.
Yeah.
And you sit around sort of talking smack, and you do a little bit of training / PE. And then when the jobs go on, it's like, boof, high performance mode. We're on here. I wouldn't say that like everything kind of tunes out, but it does. It's like you become focused.
Yeah.
Like ultra focused on what you need to do. And it's an adrenaline rush, actually. You go far out. And regardless of what the job is, obviously fires require sort of more focus than like medicals or whatever. But like you get to a car crash and it'll just be like, what's my role in this? Bing, bang, boom. Everyone's got a job. And it just requires so much accuracy. Yeah. And I love that high performance element. Yeah,
that blew me away, actually. We talked off camera. There's a few volunteer firefighters at my gym. The volume of work you guys actually have to be put through, it's quite a dynamic job. It's like, I was naive as well, like firefighter, you just put out fires, and the occasional cat up a tree, but man, the work you guys do, it actually, I don't think I would have the capacity to put up with the mental side of it, and I think that would be something that would put me off. Talk about that side of it. There is obviously a mentally tolling aspect to being a firefighter.
Yeah. Huge, actually. I probably sometimes I oversell the positives and undersell actually the hazards or the traumas that we go through. We do also still rescue cats, like that is a thing, and I have done a few of those. But
that's good.
The job itself, look, we get a whole bunch of perks. Like we get paid to train, essentially. There's an hour set aside each day to maintain our physical fitness. It's an expectation, and part of that's not even just about saving the general public, although we definitely love being ready to do that if we need to. Some of it's just about making sure that you can save your partner. So when you're in the fire together or someone goes down and shit hits the fan, can you pick up your firefighter and drag him to safety, him or her? You want to be able to rely on that person in the back of the truck. Where it starts to take a toll mentally, and this is probably something I take for granted, actually, is like we see hazardous stuff so frequently. The amount of, I suppose, I don't want to get too graphic, but just deaths or bodies in different situations, people. For me, that sort of seems easier than the ones who are still alive screaming at you to help them real quick, because they're in panic mode. It's so much harder to just shut that off to focus on your job. I probably feel a little bit blessed in the sense that I can compartmentalize what I need to do in my job quite easily. Probably easier than most people, almost like a characteristic trait or something that's been developed through having a harsh childhood or having to grow up really sort of segmenting different things. And I think I heard a guy on the radio say it recently. He was like, "Oh man, firefighters are sort of so brave or so courageous. They go into positions, dangerous positions, so that we don't have to." And there's a sense of fulfillment that I get in that. It's the same thing that I do with the box. I go in there and do some of the hard shit so that other people don't have to. There's a sense of like service or gratefulness that I get from serving my community. Like somebody's got to do this job. Somebody's got to pull that person out of the car. Somebody's got to run into that fire to save a person in there. If I'm doing it, it means that I'm protecting someone else from having to do it.
Right. Yeah.
So that's probably one of the elements that makes it a little bit easier. Also, like when we turn up to a job, it was going to happen, or it happened not because of us.
Right.
It happened already. So our job is to help.
Yeah.
That makes it a little bit easier not to dawn on things too much.
Yeah.
And then, I suppose like one of the harshest things that we hear about in the fire, well, that I think is hard, is the blood-curdling screams of the people that are left behind.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily the people that are in trouble. It's their loved ones that are watching them sort of fade off. That's probably a realistic, difficult part of the job. And the cool thing about Hamilton as a brigade, as a starting point, is like we have so much variety in our role.
Yeah.
We don't get bogged down by the same type of job, and there's enough cool jobs, and there's enough saves, and there's enough variety for us to not have to experience multiple traumas back to back to back. The average career lifestyle or career firefighter stays in roughly 17 years.
Yeah, right.
And you're kind of at two ends of the spectrum. You're either in it for life, for 25 plus years, because you love the job that much, or you may have, within the first couple of years, experienced so much trauma back to back, or you don't have the same capacity to manage those traumas that you have seen, that you're probably out within two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, far out, man. Just off the back of that, what's the, I guess, because there's been a lot in the news about Fens, and there's been some striking. What's the level of support you guys are getting? Not even just around the mental support, because obviously that's huge as well, but there's a lot of moving parts inside being a firefighter like yourself. So what's the level of support you're seeing around? Is it good? Is it bad? Could it be improved? Just from your own opinion, perspective.
I sort of can only speak from my own experience. In terms of sort of the mental health stuff, I would say that in our immediate area, the boys at the station, like, our support's massive. So we really prioritise debriefs after death or experience. Yep. And we do that with coffee, actually. Coffee's currency. Sometimes it's actually about getting off station as well. So we'll go grab a coffee somewhere else out in the community. But it's the opportunity to speak and get stuff off your chest. That peer support and keeping each other accountable and being able to get that out is actually a really emphasised part on us. It's almost like process. It's in our process, and then it's like people driven as well. So it's sort of ingrained in the culture for us here in Hamilton. And regularly, like, I just so happen to have an officer who's really big on mental health in particular. He's often going out of his way to be like, hey boys, look, if you're feeling a little bit dark or a little bit blue, and so unprompted as well, here's basically our support officer, a guy named Townie. I've been in touch with him. Get in touch with him. He's awesome. And he goes, it doesn't have to be work related, because there's a lot of relational stuff that sort of happens outside of work that can carry over onto the job.
Of course, yeah.
And it's hard to sometimes separate that stuff, but when you're at work and you've got to tune in. And so if it's relational stuff that's happening outside that's affecting your job, more than happy to cater to that stuff too. So on the mental health side of things, I feel pretty supported.
That's good.
What I can say, or why we've been striking, is some of the fleet, as an example, is pretty bad. Like, we've got trucks breaking down left, right and centre, and we don't necessarily have the best fleet in Hamilton either, but from what I can see around the country, it's significantly worse. Probably at the end of the day, what firefighters are really good at is solving problems.
Right.
And I think roughly 70% of firefighters are former tradies.
Yeah.
So they just problem solve, practical problem solve. One of the difficulties is they keep on solving the problem, so it keeps on being ignored.
Yes. Real good takeaway.
Until it's become so much of an issue where firefighters or the union have essentially gone like, look, we can't keep fixing the problems with these stop shift things, because you're putting band-aids essentially on a broken leg. Like, we need to fix it at the core, not at the symptom. Yeah. And so what we're sort of battling for at the moment is equipment that doesn't break down. Yeah. In Auckland, there were a couple of boys stranded up on the top of a cherry picker, above a fire, calling out Mayday because they can't get away from it. The machinery stopped working. Machinery's starting to, well, it is old actually. It's not starting to get old. It's pretty bloody old. The only thing sort of in that sense that I really care about is going, when I go to work, can I trust my equipment? Because we need to. These are sort of life and death situations. I want to know that me and my mates in the truck aren't going to be let down by a failing piece of hydraulic equipment, or that the truck's going to stop pumping water when we're standing in the middle of an inferno. That's pretty much the biggest issue for us.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I had a point there I was going to bring up. Your thoughts on the volunteer side of things? I know we talked off camera about this as well. And it's just interesting for me. I spend a lot of time with volunteers. They've obviously got their views. I don't think they know much about the paid stuff unless they've been in for a while. But yeah, what's your views on the because you got full-timers striking, which makes sense. It's your job. Volunteers don't get that option to strike, and I know there's a massive gap. And again, this is something you brought to my attention. I'm not coming up with this. There's a massive gap in the skill level. Obviously, you guys are paid to do it. You should be better. What's your opinion, I guess, on the volunteer side of what you do?
Great question. I'll probably premise this by saying there's roughly 12,000 firefighters in New Zealand, of which 10,000 are volunteers. So
is that a real stat? That's fucking crazy.
So the majority of firefighters in New Zealand are volunteers. And they cover virtually every rural area in New Zealand.
And Fens can't fucking upgrade the gear.
Nah. And
anyway, that's me saying that, by the way. That's me. So
and it's the career stations. There's roughly 2,000 or just under 2,000 firefighters, career paid staff around the country, who primarily are allocated to big metropolitans. So Auckland, Hamilton, Wellington, Palmy, all of sort of your major cities. The bigger the township, the more likely there is to be a paid crew there. And there is a difference in volunteers and paid career staff, and there probably should be. What the difference, I suppose I'll start with what looks the same, is our uniforms. Our uniforms are the same. Public can't tell us apart. Where the biggest difference lies is, and you touched on it because I raised it before, is skill set, is skill development. Because on one hand, you've got volunteers who are training once or twice a week for roughly 1 to 2.5 hours each week. And they're trying to master like a scope that is crazy. If it doesn't land in the police camp, if it doesn't land in the AMBO's camp, then it lands for firefighters. Okay, so the breadth of the roles that we cover is huge. Versus a career paid staff member who's doing this day in, day out, 4 days a week, on big hours, so 10-hour days, 14-hour night shifts. They're getting paid to service the public, so they should be bloody good at their jobs. And the way that we train, or there is a saying for paid staff at least, is we don't train till we get it right. We train till we can't get it wrong. And that's the accuracy that's expected of career staff when they turn up to fires. And so, that's probably the biggest key difference. I know sometimes there's a little bit of like in-house rivalry from one or the other, or both, actually. I see that from my peers. Personally, I actually know we can't function without volunteers. I went to a fire in Cambridge the other day, and it takes us 20 minutes to get there, lights and sirens and all. If they can't get there before us, that place is basically gone. So really, really important job for the volunteers. And I think there's a great sense of like belonging and helping out the community too, from the volunteers' perspective. But I must admit, I actually, if I'm being upfront, I don't know much about what it means to be a volunteer. That's not something that I did prior to being a career staff member.
Well, maybe that's something I could do. I could get one of the volleys on and could hash it out, because you do see the divide. Even from an outside looking in, but it's good to hear that from yourself, because I hear a lot of volunteers saying that they look up to the paid ones as well, and it's good that there is a space that, like I said, both rely on each other at some level.
So. I think I used the comparison before to highlight the differences. Probably I'll use Hiko, because he's a CrossFitter as an example, is he would be, in comparison, he'd be the paid staff member, because he's training 4 to 6 hours a day, and we would expect his ability and his proficiency in whatever skills that he's doing to be far better than mine, who trains 1 to 1.5 hours a day.
Volunteer CrossFitter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And consequently, he beat me in every single event comfortably. And that's probably the key differences there is like skill level. You just essentially you get out what you put in, and career firefighters are fortunate enough to be paid to train to get their skills up.
No, awesome, man. That's a really good way of putting it, and it's good to get an insight into what you guys are going through. If I can peel it back away from the firefighter stuff, and make it a bit more positive. There's been some. I mean, you're the man. You and Kurt at the moment, crushing it here in Hamilton. Mainly the LSKD stuff. How's that come about? Talk us through what you actually do, and
we both Kurt and I, both owners of our respective boxes. Kurt over at Kotahi, and me at CrossFit 3216 here in Hamilton, and both sponsored by LSKD, so to speak. It's just that Kurt's on a better sponsorship than me. He is one of the store athletes, which is awesome, and I'm a little bit jealous, but also at the same time so stoked for him too. He's such a humble guy.
So good.
He does so many of the things that unsung heroes do. He's sort of behind the scenes. He's probably a better listener than he is talker, and that's one of the things I respect about Kurt. And he's a handsome man, so he deserves to go up on the front as well. But we.
Don't sell yourself short, all right? You're a good-looking lad.
Oh, yeah, I am too. So if they want to give me a store athlete contract, I'll take that one
2024 July firefighter calendar. Look it up.
Kurt got a contract with LSKD, and when LSKD decided they were going to open up a Hamilton store, I think what happened is they basically reached out to a few people that they knew in Hamilton already through their marketing manager, Kayla is her name. And she was like, hey, I'm reaching out to a few of you guys' names have been mentioned as people of influence here in the CrossFit space or the functional fitness space or just health and fitness in general. Basically, you guys look after people who buy our stuff and who represent LSKD. We want to get to know you a little bit more. What do you do? What are you about? And that's kind of how the sponsorship started. They came and sat down at 3216 and said, here's who we are, here's what we're doing, we're opening up a store here. And it was a little bit like they were already selling or preaching to the choir. Like 90% of our gym membership already had LSKD stuff. I already love their stuff. And so when they offered me like a discount code to be one of their community athletes, I just jumped at it and I was like, hell yes. Lock me in. I get to sell something that I was already promoting. And get something in return for it as well. So it was easy. Probably since then, what I've really enjoyed about LSKD, and it's started to transition over to my own business, is I was like, cool clothing brand, love their activewear, love some of their social media branding. And then I got to know their business story and the way that they function and challenge themselves, and they start thinking about possibilities. And man, has that transferred over to me in the gym at the moment, and I'm sitting down in my car driving on the way here going, what can we do better next year? Now we've had an amazing year with athletes representing our box, a couple of podiums at NZ Champs on the weekend, but thinking to myself, like, what's bigger than that? Like, what's better than that? And it's not just about numbers or even just about the quality athletes. It's actually like, how do our athletes have a voice in shaping like what we do? Like, can we grow even bigger? Can we deliver stuff? Can we automate the mundane stuff so that we can just focus on, I don't know, that feeling like that does every single person here walk out of here going, that's my place? And so it's got me thinking a lot about how to make that happen, actually. And I was already thinking like, man, next year I almost want to start a town hall and be like, I want all of the members in, and I want everyone to be like, hey, I'm going to open the floor up and be like, how do you want this place to be? Like, if this is your space, yes, there's going to be some poo ideas, but there's also going to be some great ones. And those ideas that might not be great might be able to be adjusted or manipulated to be awesome for everybody. Like, do you want to contribute to that? Allow our members to take some ownership over it. And that actually, like, that's been something that's been sitting with me a little bit to go, once upon a time I thought I knew all the answers. and I tried to do the best that I could for our box. And that works when you're in a place of chaos. You need someone to take control.
Yeah.
But when you grow to a certain size, and we're sitting above 160 plus active members now, and then once you add our coaches in, it starts to get a little bit over that.
Yeah.
A busy box is like, how can we get other people's ideas in here to grow this even bigger, like so that it's not limited just by my imagination.
Yeah.
And that's some of the thinking, I suppose, that LSKD sort of bring to their table around how they do things.
Yeah.
And it's infectious, actually.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. You actually, you could take that into a lot of aspects, like coaching. I coach a football team, exact same thing. Yeah, you want to have like an overall direction, what you want to do, but if you haven't got the players sort of on board, you can go nowhere quickly. So
100%.
I think that's an amazing idea. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I'm sure I had a point, but no,
it
come
happens,
back to
bro.
it. Yeah.
It happens a lot, man. I mean, we're going to look to wrap up soon. We're going hour 15 now.
Yeah.
It's just been so cool to learn about your journey. You know, and it's something that not many people probably know. They know you, Nick Reed, you know, the handsome guy that fucking snatches 100 kgs at plus. It's just real cool to sit down and it was actually when I was at the LSKD store launch, and you said some really cool stuff around Movember and stuff like that. I thought, no, it'd be cool to get you on and actually listen to your story.
Yeah, cheers, bro. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's funny because you, like you said, you get to know someone in a certain space, but you don't sort of get to know that much actually in terms of depth or like where have they come from or why do they make the decisions that they do. You just sort of just get to see little snippets of it. So it's actually been pretty cool to jump on and spin some yarns actually.
Right, yeah, and that's what it's about. Sometimes you learn a lot about yourself just by talking about yourself, and you go, "Oh, actually, I've come a bit of a journey, and it's cool. It's cool, and there's still so much left to go for you. Obviously, the LSKD thing's exciting. I think there's no one more deserving than yourself and to Kurt. Kurt, like you said, you can't say a bad thing about that man. And I think, you know, for yourself as well, there's something that really stuck out for me was, and we touched on it before, it was a member at my gym, Greer, who is a phenomenal CrossFitter, off getting married now, so she's on a sabbatical. I'm sure she'll be back. But you actually reached out because you wanted to put her on a team to go to the games, and I thought, there's so much of that in the community where you wouldn't have reached out. But for you to reach out, I thought that's an amazing, because you could have just messaged her and been like, hey, do you want to come train at 3216 and jump on this team? I was like, that just speaks volumes that you would do that. So yeah, I mean, we can big up Kurt all you want, but you're also a bit of a dude as well. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah. Probably I mean, not to say one last thing on Kurt, I just sort of, he's actually probably my favourite rival too.
That's a good way of saying it, yeah.
And because we've actually known each other since we were 14.
Oh, wow.
We're the same age. I think we realised on the weekend he's 4 days older than me. So we used to play representative rugby together and then representative league together. And then we both moved over to Aussie, and really similar journeys in terms of, like, I played under 20s at Roosters and Cronulla. He was at the Warriors before he went to the Roosters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We've come back to New Zealand, gone through our journeys and become like biggest rivals actually in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I love getting one up over him. I think he beat me this weekend, but only because I had to shoot off to
you
work.
guys were lane next to each other. Yeah, that's even funnier.
It's crack up. But we're just having a little bit of a laugh. Like, we're starting to get on up in age now.
Yeah.
Where we're both sort of been eligible for Masters for a couple of years, but we keep deciding to compete in elite until we can't. Or until we get pushed out. But it's funny, like, we turn up there, and after every workout we're lying on the floor struggling with all this lactate, having a bit of a laugh about how old we're getting and how the young guys keep coming through, getting bigger and stronger. But yeah, just looking to beat him one more time, actually.
He's a good dude. I want to get him on this as well, so it'd be a good chat to have him on. I remember last year I did NZ Champs teams with him, and it's funny because when I was sort of like, when I stopped trying to like compete to a high level, I just don't think my body was made for it. But I really fucked my shoulder, and I remember getting out, and he just started at Kotahi because I did all my competitive stuff at Kotahi.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
that's right.
He had just joined up. Maybe he'd been there a couple of months. I don't know, but fuck, he was good straight away. And I was like, fuck, I'm done here, man.
Yeah.
But we competed at Injured Champs last year, and I thought I was like getting back into my fitness, and fuck, he carried me the whole way. Eh? I was like, yeah, nah, fucking, you're the man, kid.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to do teams this year again. I don't know why.
Oh, it's 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, didn't want to do it with me again. That's for sure, man. But anyway, look, hey, let's wrap it up there. We could go on forever about how fucking cool Kurt is, but thanks for coming down, sitting down, man. I really appreciate it, bro.
Sweet ass shot, Matty. Appreciate that, bro.